Welcome to Daily Garden Fix, where tiny patios become stunning outdoor retreats that look like they cost thousands but actually cost less than one fancy dinner out. Today we're revealing 15 game-changing patio garden ideas that will transform your small outdoor space into a designer paradise, and I'm talking about spaces as small as 4 by 4 feet. I've watched too many people with small patios give up on having beautiful outdoor spaces because they think you need a massive backyard and unlimited budget to create garden magic. The truth is, small patio gardens can be even more stunning than large spaces because every element has maximum impact, and with the right techniques, you can create a high-end designer look for under $200. Whether you're working with a tiny apartment balcony, a narrow townhouse patio, a small deck, or even just a doorstep area, these 15 ideas will prove that size doesn't matter when it comes to creating outdoor spaces that make your neighbors wonder how much you spent on a professional designer. But here's what most people don't realize. The most expensive-looking patio gardens aren't about buying expensive plants or furniture. They're about understanding design principles, layering techniques, and strategic styling that creates luxury vibes on any budget. Before we transform your patio into a designer paradise, show your commitment to small space magic by hitting that like button. Share this video with anyone who has a small patio, balcony, or outdoor space they want to maximize. Subscribe to our channel and ring that notification bell. We're building a community of small space gardeners who refuse to let size limit their garden dreams. Every subscription helps us reach more people who need these budget-friendly, space-maximizing ideas. Now let's turn your tiny patio into garden gold. Small patio gardening seems impossible at first, doesn't it? Look at your tiny space and think there's no way to create anything that looks intentional, let alone expensive. But this limiting mindset is exactly what keeps small spaces looking like afterthoughts rather than stunning garden retreats. The reality is that small patio design is both more achievable and more impactful than most people realize. More achievable because small spaces require fewer plants, less materials, and smaller investments to look complete. More impactful because every element you add has dramatic visual weight, and proper design principles can make 50 square feet feel like a spacious garden room. When small patio gardens go wrong, they look cluttered, random, or obviously budget constrained. Plants are scattered without purpose, furniture fights for space, and the overall effect screams, "I gave up," rather than "I created something beautiful." These failed attempts actually make small spaces feel smaller and less appealing. But here's the incredible thing. Once you understand small space design principles and strategic layering techniques, tiny patios become outdoor rooms that feel spacious, intentional, and surprisingly luxurious. Your patio will become your favorite room in the house, in the space that impresses every guest who sees it. Idea 1. The vertical garden wall illusion. Vertical garden walls create the illusion of expansive garden space while using zero floor area, the ultimate small patio magic trick that makes tiny spaces feel like botanical conservatories. Most vertical gardens fail because people just hang random plants on walls without understanding sightlines and visual flow. Simply mounting a few planters creates a cluttered look rather than the lush garden wall effect that makes spaces feel larger and more designed. The professional approach uses layering principles that create depth and visual interest. Install a trellis or grid system as your foundation, then layer plants at different depths using mounted planters, hanging baskets, and climbing vines. Choose plants with varying textures and heights to create natural-looking composition rather than uniform rows. The secret is creating a gradient from large statement plants at the bottom to delicate trailing plants at the top, with medium-sized plants filling the middle zone. This mimics how plants grow naturally and creates visual weight that feels intentional rather than random. But even the most stunning vertical wall can't match the space-expanding magic of our next idea: floating garden shelves that create garden rooms in mid-air. Idea 2. Floating garden shelves system. Floating garden shelves create multiple garden levels without using precious floor space, turning walls into functional garden storage that looks like custom built-ins costing thousands. The shelf magic happens through strategic placement and styling that mimics expensive interior design. Install floating shelves at varying heights, not uniform rows, and load them with plants of different sizes and textures. The key is creating visual triangles and groupings rather than straight lines. Construction is simpler than it looks. Use sturdy floating shelf brackets rated for plant weight, ensure proper wall anchor systems for safety, and choose shelf depths that accommodate standard nursery pots while leaving styling room for decorative elements. The styling transforms basic shelves into designer displays. Group plants in odd numbers, vary pot heights with risers or books, add decorative elements like small sculptures or candles, and ensure each shelf tells a visual story rather than just holding plants. Floating shelves maximize vertical space, but our next idea creates horizontal magic. Mirror illusion gardens that double your visual space. Idea 3. Mirror illusion garden expansion. Strategic mirror placement creates the optical illusion of expanded garden space, while reflecting plants to double their visual impact. The designer trick that makes any patio feel twice as large. Mirror placement is everything for convincing illusions. Position mirrors to reflect your best plant groupings rather than empty spaces. Angle mirrors to avoid obvious reflections that break the illusion. And frame mirrors with climbing plants or trellises to integrate them naturally into your garden design. Weather-resistant mirrors designed for outdoor use, prevent safety issues and maintain clarity through seasons. Acrylic mirrors offer durability, while traditional glass mirrors with protective backing provide superior reflection quality for dramatic impact. The magic multiplies when you coordinate plantings with mirror placement. Position your most beautiful plants where mirrors will reflect them. Create symmetrical groupings that look intentional when doubled. And use mirrors to reflect light into shadowy corners for better plant growth and brighter ambiance. Mirror illusions expand visual space, but our next idea creates functional magic, hidden storage planters that organize while they beautify. Idea 4. Hidden storage planter benches. Storage planter benches solve small patio storage problems while creating seating and garden space in one brilliant multifunctional piece that looks like expensive custom furniture. The storage magic transforms ordinary storage bins into attractive garden furniture. Choose weather-resistant storage containers sized for comfortable seating height, add cushioned tops for comfort, and surround with built-in planters that integrate storage seamlessly into your garden design. Construction requires basic DIY skills but delivers high-end results. Waterproof storage containers prevent moisture damage, proper drainage systems protect stored items, secure lid systems ensure safety and weather resistant, and coordinated styling makes storage invisible within your garden aesthetic. Functionality planning maximizes storage efficiency. Store garden tools, cushions, and outdoor accessories inside while maintaining easy access. Organize seasonal items for rotation throughout the year, and design opening mechanisms that don't disrupt plant arrangement. Hidden storage creates organization, but our next idea creates drama. Cascading water features that bring luxury spa vibes to tiny spaces. Idea 5. Mini water feature cascades. Small water features create luxury ambiance and mask urban noise, while taking up minimal space, the designer element that transforms ordinary patios into tranquil retreats. Water feature magic happens through proper scale and position. Choose features proportioned to your space size, position for optimal sound without overpowering conversation, and integrate with plantings that complement rather than compete with water elements. Simple construction creates sophisticated results. Tabletop fountains require no installation and provide instant ambiance. Wall-mounted features save floor space while creating focal points, and DIY options using containers and small pumps cost under $50 while delivering designer impact. The tranquility factor elevates any patio. Flowing water sounds mask traffic and neighbor noise. Moving water catches light for visual interest throughout the day, and water features attract birds for natural entertainment that brings your patio to life. Water features create tranquility, but our next idea creates color drama. Container garden arrangements that rival professional landscape design. Decide. 86 professional container arrangements. Strategic container groupings create the appearance of designed landscape beds while maintaining flexibility and maximum impact in minimal space. Container arrangement failures happen when people scatter single pots randomly instead of creating intentional groupings. Individual containers look sparse and amateur, while professional groupings create visual weight and sophisticated composition. The grouping formula uses design principles that guarantee success. Arrange containers in odd-numbered groups 3, 5, 7. Vary container heights using risers or different-sized pots. Choose coordinating colors and materials rather than random pot collections, and create visual triangles for pleasing composition. Plant selection elevates containers into landscape art. Use thriller, filler, spiller combinations for dynamic arrangements. Coordinate bloom times for continuous color throughout seasons. And choose plant combinations that complement container materials and your patio's style aesthetic. Container groupings create impact, but our next idea creates privacy magic, living privacy screens that block views while adding beauty. Idea 7. Living privacy screens. Strategic plant screens create intimate patio rooms while blocking unwanted views and adding vertical garden interest. The functional beauty that makes small spaces feel secluded and special. Privacy screen failures occur when people use single plants or inappropriate species that leave gaps or die back seasonally. Effective screens require layered plantings and strategic species selection for year-round coverage and visual appeal. The screening strategy combines function with beauty. Choose fast-growing plants for quick results, layer evergreen and deciduous plants for seasonal interest, vary heights for natural rather than wall-like appearance, and position screens to block specific sightlines without closing in your space completely. Plant selection determines success. Bamboo varieties for rapid screening and architectural interest, climbing vines on trellises for vertical coverage, ornamental grasses for movement and texture, and flowering shrubs for beauty alongside function. Privacy screens create intimacy, but our next idea creates evening magic, strategic lighting that transforms patios into nighttime wonderlands. Idea 8. Layered lighting ambience. Multi-level lighting transforms patios into enchanting evening destinations, while extending outdoor living hours and creating resort-like ambiance that costs pennies to operate. Lighting failures create harsh or inadequate illumination that makes spaces feel stark or unsafe. Single light sources create unflattering shadows, while proper layering creates warm, inviting ambiance that makes any patio feel expensive and well-designed. The layering system creates professional results. Ambient lighting for overall glow using string lights or lanterns. Task lighting for specific activities like reading or dining. Accent lighting to highlight plants and architectural features, and pathway lighting for safety and navigation. Installation approaches suit any skill level. Solar options eliminate wiring requirements and reduce operating costs. Battery-powered fixtures provide flexibility for seasonal changes. Plug-in options offer consistent power for frequently used lighting, and professional installation for permanent fixtures that integrate seamlessly. Evening lighting extends enjoyment, but our next idea creates texture magic, mixing materials that add visual richness without adding cost. Idea 9. Textural material mixing. Strategic material combinations create visual richness and designer sophistication, while using budget-friendly elements that look expensive when properly coordinated. Material mixing mistakes create chaotic appearances when too many textures compete or clash. Random combinations look accidental rather than intentional, while strategic mixing creates sophisticated layering that adds interest without overwhelming small spaces. The coordination formula ensures sophisticated results. Choose a dominant material, wood, stone, metal for consistency. Add 1 or 2 accent materials for interest. Repeat materials throughout the space for unity. And ensure materials complement rather than compete with plant textures. Budget-friendly options deliver high-end looks. Painted concrete blocks for modern geometric elements. Reclaimed wood for warm natural textures, decorative stones and pebbles for ground cover interest, and fabric elements like outdoor rugs or cushions for softness and color. Material mixing creates sophistication, but our next idea creates seasonal magic, rotating displays that keep patios fresh and interesting year-round. Idea 10. Seasonal rotation systems. Planned seasonal rotations keep small patios looking fresh and intentional throughout the year, while maximizing plant variety and maintaining design interest in limited space. Seasonal planning failures leave patios looking tired or empty during off-seasons. Static displays become boring, while strategic rotation maintains excitement and allows experimentation with different plants and arrangements without permanent commitment. The rotation strategy maximizes variety. Plan spring bulb displays for early season color. Design summer container arrangements for peak growing season. Create fall displays with seasonal plants and decorations, and maintain winter interest with evergreen elements and structural features. Storage and organization systems make rotation practical. Plan storage space for off-season containers and decorations. Establish maintenance schedules for plant care and replacement. Document successful combinations for future seasons, and budget for seasonal plant purchases throughout the year. Seasonal rotation maintains interest, but our next idea creates architectural magic, structural elements that add height and sophistication. Idea 11. Architectural structure additions. Strategic structural elements add vertical interest and sophisticated design framework, while creating support systems for climbing plants and defining space boundaries. Structure failures create cluttered or unsafe additions that detract from rather than enhance patio beauty. Random additions look like afterthoughts, while planned structures integrate seamlessly and elevate the entire space design. The structural approach combines function with style. Trellises provide climbing plant support, while adding vertical interest. Pergola elements create overhead definition and partial shade. Architectural planters add height variation and focal points. And screen elements define spaces while maintaining openness. Installation considerations ensure success. Choose structures scaled appropriately to patio size. Ensure proper anchoring for safety and stability. Coordinate materials with existing patio elements, and plan for plant integration rather than treating structures as separate elements. Architectural elements add sophistication, but our next idea creates abundance magic. Succession planting that maintains continuous color and harvest. Idea 12. Succession planting strategies. Strategic succession planting maintains continuous color, harvest, and interest throughout growing seasons, while maximizing production and beauty in minimal space. Succession failures leave patios with gaps in color or productivity when plants finish blooming or producing. Single plantings create feast or famine cycles, while planned succession maintains consistent beauty and productivity. The succession system ensures continuous results. Stagger plantings of same varieties for extended harvest periods. Choose varieties with different bloom times for continuous color. Plan replacement plants for seasonal transition, and maintain backup plants for immediate replacement of declining specimens. Planning strategies maximize success. Research bloom times and growing requirements for your climate. Establish planting schedules for different seasons. Maintain propagation systems for continuous plant supply, and document successful timing for future season planning. Succession planting maintains abundance, but our next idea creates microclimate magic, strategic positioning that maximizes growing success. Idea 13. Microclimate Optimization. Understanding and optimizing microclimates within small patios dramatically improves plant success while creating diverse growing conditions that support more plant varieties. Microclimate ignorance leads to plant failures and limited variety options. Treating all patio areas the same ignores natural variations that could support different plants and create more interesting garden design. The optimization approach maximizes growing potential, identify sun and shade patterns throughout the day, recognize wind patterns and protection opportunities, understand heat reflection and absorption zones, and create moisture variation through strategic positioning and material. Strategic placement improves plant success. Position heat-loving plants in reflected heat zones. Place shade plants in protected areas. Use wind protection for delicate plants, and create humidity zones through grouping and water features for plants requiring higher moisture. Microclimate optimization improves success, but our next idea creates focal point magic, statement elements that anchor entire patio designs. Idea 14. Statement focal point creation. Strategic focal points anchor small patio designs while creating visual destinations that make spaces feel larger and more intentional than random plant collection. Focal point failures scatter visual attention rather than creating purposeful design flow. Multiple competing elements create chaos, while strong focal points organize surrounding elements and create sophisticated composition. The focal point strategy creates organized beauty. Choose one primary focal point per patio area. Position focal points at natural sightlines. Scale focal points appropriately to space size, and support focal points with complementary surrounding elements rather than competing additions. Effective focal point options suit different styles. Large statement plants for natural drama, water features for movement and sound, sculptural elements for artistic interest, and architectural features for structural definition. Focal points organize design, but our final idea creates personalization magic, customization techniques that reflect your unique style. Idea 15. Personalization and style integration. Personal style integration transforms generic patio gardens into unique outdoor rooms that reflect individual personality while maintaining professional design principles. Personalization failures create cluttered or confused aesthetics when personal elements clash with design principles. Random personal additions look like afterthoughts rather than integrated design elements. The integration approach balances personality with design. Choose color palettes that reflect personal preferences while maintaining coordination. Select decorative elements that complement rather than compete with plants. Integrate personal collections or artwork as design elements, and maintain consistency between indoor and outdoor style preferences. Style development creates cohesive results. Identify your preferred aesthetic. Modern, rustic, tropical, minimalist. Research design elements that support your chosen style. Plan implementation that respects budget and space constraints, and document successful combinations for future expansion. Now that you've seen all 15 space maximizing ideas, let me share the complete system for planning small patio gardens that guarantee professional results. Here's the comprehensive approach that ensures every small patio transformation achieves designer results while maximizing impact and minimizing investment. Space assessment phase. Measure actual dimensions and create scale drawings. Identify sun-shade patterns throughout the day. Assess existing features and architectural elements. Determine budget and timeline for implementation. Design planning process. Choose your primary style direction and color palette. Select your focal point and supporting elements. Plan traffic flow and functional zones. Coordinate with existing home exterior for seamless integration. Implementation strategy. Start with structural elements and major focal points. Add container gardens and plant groupings. Integrate lighting and decorative elements. Establish maintenance routines for long-term success. Optimization techniques. Monitor plant performance and adjust positioning as needed. Document successful combinations for future reference. Plan seasonal rotations and updates. Budget for gradual improvements and expansions. Maintenance systems. Establish regular care schedules appropriate to your plant selections. Plan for seasonal transitions and weather protection. Maintain tool and supply organization. Document care requirements for different plants and elements. Thank you for joining us on this transformation journey through 15 game-changing ideas that prove small patios can be just as stunning as expansive gardens. Whether you're creating vertical gardens, hidden storage solutions, or personalized style statements, remember that creativity and strategic planning are the foundations of small space success.